That's when you take a large hunk of clay and throw just off the hump. So first I'm gonna just tap this to center. When you're throwing large, you just wanna take the time while it's dry before you add water just to tap it. Spin it very slow. Tap, 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 tap. Okay, now the beauty of throwing off the hump is that we're really just working with this top bit. So I could take the time and center all of this. Maybe I'll give it a head start. But ultimately what matters is this little handful up here. And that's throwing off the hump, is when you have a big hump and you just throw off of it. So I will take a minute to kind of cone this up and down just slightly so that it's a little prepared. See that little twist? We don't like that. And that's why coning up and down helps prepare the clay. After you wedge, you always want to wedge. And then even after wedging, coning up and down is going to really help get your clay in alignment. Get all those clay particles back how they like to be. See, now we're getting some smooth surface on our clay. Okay, so I'm going to push this down a little bit. And now that it's kind of in control, I'm going to grab my hump at the top. And ultimately what I'm throwing today are some little like mise en place, little bowls for a commission order. So just lots of little bowls. In fact, this already feels too big. So usually the first one of anything that you throw is just a warm up. But I'm going to go ahead and compress this bottom. And then do a little pull. And shoot, I should have gotten myself a little bat. I'm going to pull these walls. And usually when you throw off the hump, it's just for like little things. You're not going to do like really, I mean, you could do any size you want actually, I guess. Who's going to check you, boo? But again, this one got kind of big because this commission order, it's like for little soy sauce dishes. And this is kind of a little bigger. I will end with a little rib to rib on this. I just like, whenever I'm doing a bowl, I do like to put a rib on the inside and the outside just to really make sure that that interior curve is a nice continuous curve. And we slow our wheel, get all the way to the top, slow release. And then ultimately I am gonna pinch these lips to make them a little more handmade felt. But ultimately, after you throw your little hump off the top, I then like to take a wooden knife tool and kind of cut away where my false bottom would be, because we're not throwing on a wheel directly or on a bat directly. I kind of lay this clay down, and now it's got like a little ledge here that I can run the wire under and cut this off. And then that's throwing off the hump. So I'm also gonna wipe this clay off my hand, and I need to grab a bat real quick, but I can talk to you while I walk because I have the mic on, I think. So I'm gonna run, grab a bat, and then while I'm running to grab the bat, these are the black Molly Sanyour Ceramics speedball bats. They're the beautiful plastic speedball bats that go on every wheel. There's 2-hole options, but these just come in the nice black, aesthetically pleasing. But they have 2 wheels, 2-hole settings for narrow and more wide. They have nice little 3 dots on the outside versus the 1 dot. These are the wider holes, so those fit nicely. But I'm gonna take this bat, put it beside me, grab a wire cutter, and then using that kind of false bottom that I carved, I can cut this off. And I should have also gotten a towel. Oh, I have a towel right here. Towel. And I'm Molly Sanyour, coming to you live from Molly Sanyour Ceramics Studio here in Adair Park, Atlanta, Georgia. So nice and tight like dental floss. And then I can just drag across that false bottom that I created. And then with dry hands, you prong up your piece. So dry hands. If I had, shoot, guys, I just knocked that lip. If I had a torch, I would torch it, but I don't. So I'm gonna bring this back close, prop this up, 2 from underneath, and then onto my bat. And I can throw another, and another, and another. And that's throwing off the hump. We'll do 1 more. And if y'all have any questions, I see y'all tuning in. Hello, live here on YouTube. I do have a Throwing with Molly community for clay enthusiasts of all skill levels all over the world. It's been on pause for a few years while I moved from Richmond, Virginia, where as a full-time high school ceramics teacher, had my own basement studio, my own ceramics business, and I quit everything, moved here to Atlanta, opened up the studio. And so in that time, the membership got put on pause, but now we're back. So now I'm going to relaunch it. It'll be reopened very soon. Definitely want to get started by the new year, because new year, new goal settings. So again, throwing off the hump. I'm working with a huge hunk of clay, and ultimately I'm only going to work with this top bit. And I do feel some air bubbles because y'all didn't see me wedge this, but I didn't really take my best time. Now, if you're coning up and down, you've got to have a cone. If this top portion gets flat, then you'll get a crater every time. So I'm making sure that I start with a cone, coning this up, rotate, rotate, rotate. And then for throwing off the hump, I don't really care what's happening down here. I did prepare it a little bit, got a few of the wonks out, but ultimately we're just going to deal with this hunk here, however big you want. I think that last hunk I did was a little too big. So I'm going to kind of get my hump right here. So I'm going to work with just this. And I'm going to open, and I'm going to pull back, establish my bottom, compress, and then give this wall a little pull. That can be tricky throwing off the hump because when you wire cut this off, you don't really know where the bottom is. And many times I've wire cut just right through my bowl or my pot or whatever I'm making. And, you know, that's unfortunate. So my little trick is once I get this off, oh, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for saying hi. Once I get this interior, because you're always throwing the interior, and then you trim to match the interior. And then I do like to put a little rib on it to get a nice continuous curve. This green guy in. Oh, I've got to get this finger in there because it's not. There we go. Okay, rotate, rotate, rotate. God, see my air bubbles throwing me off there. Don't let the air bubbles bother you. Just keep going. But really, I should have prepared my clay a little better. Let's be honest. And then I'm going to compress that little wonkiness there. It's a little funky, but that's okay. We're going to go with it because the idea is still the same. You'll get the idea. And the idea is that once you kind of get this top hunk thrown how you want it, oh, that little air bubble, that little off-centered bit, we're going to ignore it. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Slow release, smooth my inside. And then to get this off the hump, oh, I don't like how funky that is, but that's okay. We're going to go with it. Take your wooden knife, cut away at the base, and then as I cut away, I'm going to kind of lay it down like that. See how I just kind of made this little pedestal, and then that's where I can run my wire along that little fake bottom that I just made. And then dry hands, dry hands, dry hands, dry hands. I already cut it, 4-finger lift up. Here's my bat with another one that I already threw. Turn it this way and just lift up and then over. And then there we go. We got 2. So then you can just keep going and you can throw lots of little things throwing off the hump. Hope this helps. See y'all in the next video. And don't forget, Throwing with Molly live on Monday nights. And I've got my whole series or seasons 2 already up on my website. So go take a look. And if you're in Atlanta, come take a class.